My name is Julia Bubelis. I'm 20 years old and I'm from the neighborhood of High Park in Toronto, Ontario. The land I live on is part of the Toronto Purchase in 1805, also known as Treaty 13. I am privileged enough to live on this traditional land. As for when I am in London, I acknowledge the Western University is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Luna-Pequot, and the Attawandaron peoples, on lands connected with the London Township and treaties of 1796, and the dish with one spoon, covenant wampum. I decided to do my digital story on someone who is very important in my life, my brother Henry. I also wanted to show the class how Korean culture has been an important aspect in my life since Henry came into it and explain the importance of culture and adoption. When I was 3 years old, I was first told I'd be getting a sibling. When I asked when my sibling was coming, my parents told me they were going far away to bring him back to live in our house. I didn't really understand how I was going to get a sibling when my mom said that another mom had had him and that he was going to be a part of our family. I stayed with my aunt and uncle for almost 3 weeks while my parents were away in Korea. Then I was finally able to meet my brother Henry. I'll be honest, I cried my eyes out when I realized that I had a brother and not a sister, but other than that, my parents brought me back some cool stuff from Korea, so I stopped crying. Growing up with an adopted brother, my parents weren't shy to share with anyone, including people outside of our family, that he was adopted and from where. My brother knew from a young age that he was born in South Korea and had a foster mom. Going to school with my brother from a young age raised a lot of eyebrows. My mother was often asked if she was our nanny, as my brother didn't look like either of us. It didn't bother my family, but gave them an opportunity to educate people about adoption and show kids that being in a family doesn't mean you need to look alike. Growing up, my parents made the decision to involve Korean culture not just heavily in my brother's life, but also mine. From the ages of 1 to 12, we attended Korean culture camp for a week every summer. It's a camp run by Korean student volunteers that helps adoptee Korean children in the GTA experience Korean culture for a week with their families. We ate Korean food every day, go to Korean language classes, get Korean art and dance lessons, and overall bond with other families attending who have Korean adoptees. It was a great way for Henry to keep in contact with his culture and for my family to come to appreciate Korean culture. Due to my neighborhood not being very multicultural, my parents really wanted my brother to be able to experience his Korean culture growing up and always have a piece of that with him. He's very thankful, and so am I, to be able to experience Korean culture and understand the importance of having your cultural background with you wherever you go, even when you are in an adoptive family. This also allowed for my brother to understand his identity, where he comes from, and what Korean culture means to him and our family. Henry has always been a very social and outgoing little guy. He was super excited to join school in kindergarten. One of the things I realized when I was older was that Henry was one of the only people of color in his classes, and the only Korean student almost in the entire school. Although every student would ask why his mom didn't look like him, Henry was very happy to explain that he was Korean and he was adopted, something he's never been afraid to tell anyone and something he's been very proud to tell people. This is one of the things that I admire about my brother the most. Although Henry had a very positive childhood, it was prevalent that he was one of the only Asian children in the school and Asian people that lived in my neighborhood. That being said, when Henry was in the first 6 months of living at home with us, my mother got a call from a local mom in the neighborhood. When she listened to the voicemail, she was shocked. The mother asked that I not attend my friend's birthday party that weekend because she was scared I was infected with SARS because my brother is Korean. At that point, my brother had been living with us for almost 6 months, and SARS had not been in Korea the time my brother was born or when my parents went over to South Korea to get him. This is one of the first memories I have of my brother facing racism and my family having to deal with it. This is where I want to talk about the seriousness of racism, especially today with the coronavirus epidemic. Time and time again, people of color are attacked with racial slurs because of fright and fear surrounding world viruses. It's important to understand that being from a certain cultural background doesn't make you any less or any more susceptible to sickness, but be kind to people who may be at that forefront of racism now, as they have probably experienced it throughout their life like my brother. I also want to bring up the importance of abolishing stereotypes. My brother growing up was always asked if he was good at math and science, mainly because he was Asian. To their surprise, he was good at more than that, as he's very artistic and better at art than I will ever be. Again, be careful about when you think about stereotypes. You never really know someone until you talk to them, understand them. On a lighter note, I want to tell you a little bit more about my younger brother, Henry. Henry is now 17 and in his second last semester of high school. He's looking to do an internship in car mechanics and go into car mechanics and design. He is the artistic side of the family, unlike me, who is very skilled in various types of art, such as fashion, painting, drawing, poetry, and music. He's been playing guitar for almost 5 years and is super talented when it comes to music. He spends every summer at our summer camp called Camp Celtic on the Bruce Peninsula in Lions Head on Stokes Bay. He is a bright, young man who can make friends with almost anyone. I'm excited to see how far in life that he goes. Overall, I am thankful every day for my brother having a different background than me and having an adopted brother in general. Henry has taught me compassion when people say racist remarks and taught me the importance of educating rather than getting mad. Even though Henry tried Taekwondo and career lessons, he realized it wasn't for him, and that's okay. Henry found his passions: music, design, and cars. I know Henry will be very embarrassed when I show him this, but I hope he knows how proud I am to be his sister. Thank you for listening to my digital story.